Hi guys, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are now. This is Russell again. I'm coming for the brand new life. We're giving another 2 minutes to people to to join the meeting. Hi guys. Again. If you can hear me, please hit one on the keyboard to help me know that people can hear what I'm saying. So yeah, connect guys before we get started. And today is a crucial video for the people who are receiving or who received already or who are in the process of receiving the PPP loan. And yesterday I apologized about the fact that many people did not get the fair share of the PPP loan. And today I'm mostly addressing this video to the one who were able to get it. If you receive the PPP loan, which I call grants, what's next? Remember, I call it grants for a reason. So today I will be showing you the first step, the ultimate first step to make that money a grant. That was the reason why I was saying that everybody has to get it. Everybody should do whatever they're supposed to do to get that grant, if it's still available. I don't even know if it's still available. Yesterday at the end of the video, I was giving a chance to 10 people to get assistance for free by my team or I, to help them getting the fair share of it. So today I'm mostly, this thing has been going on for long. So the first people who were actually awarded or were approved by March, by now are already thinking about officially make it a grant or forgivable. So the reason why we are going live today is to actually address those people, to let them know exactly what they're supposed to do if they have not done it yet, because we were still in the process of getting more people approved. So my apologies also to those people who get the money a long time ago, and that we just told them that you have to check receipt of you have to check all your expenses, because remember, the grant is to sustain your business. So basically we told them you have to be careful, you have to use this money strategically, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to use this money on this. But specifically, we have not told them exactly how to go about, like the steps to take to ultimately make it free money. Let's call it like, it's actually free money. Yes, it's a free money to make it a grant. So today's video we will be focusing on show you the steps, or at least the first step that you should take if you were awarded this loan. If you don't want it to keep being a loan, we are telling you today how to make it a grant, basically. So we are giving 2 more minutes to people to join this appointment, this meeting, because it's going to be crucial, I'm saying. And if you know somebody who is a business owner, you don't even know if he received the grant or not, chances are that you receive that grant. Share the video with him. Share the video with him, because it might be a really helpful piece of content that you are sending to someone. Share this, share the live, or even after you watch the video, you will still have the chance to share with other people you know that might be that you know are self-employed or business owner or contractor. It applies to everyone who makes money on himself without receiving a paycheck. So we still have 30 seconds before we we jump into it. By the way, during the video, if you have any question, just ask the question in the comment section. I will, of course, answer those questions when I finish the live. So, without further ado, are you guys ready? Without further ado, we need to jump into the question of today's video. Yes. So let me know please if you can hear me. Hit one on your keyboard if you can, if you can hear me. Hit 1 or hit 2 if you just can't hear me. So I might adjust my microphone or whatever it is that I need to adjust to make sure that I'm not talking to myself, that I don't have to actually start everything over just because many people did not catch me when I was talking to myself, let's say like that. So yes, again, let me know on the comment section if you can hear me. Please hit 1 if you can hear me, hit 2 if you can't, if you are not hearing what I'm saying. It's already 5 minutes past the time. Please let me know if you are able to hear me. And also you can of course tell me where you're calling from or where you're watching the video from. It will also help us in knowing what is the size or what's the diversity of our audience. Yes. So what do we need to do here? Let's jump in. Okay. Like I said, today's video is about the next step after you receive your PPP loan. You apply for it. It was, I don't know if it was easy or hard, but I don't think it was difficult. Of course, depending on the size of your company and the document that you have to provide, depending on the type of the company that you have. The documentation to provide were different, especially if you are an employee or you don't have employees, or you're working by yourself, or you only work with contractors. So you receive the money, right? You're happy, you are enjoying the money. What's next? That's the big question. What's next? You just go there and use the money wisely or strategically, but you are expecting it to be free at the end of the covered period. The covered period is actually 8 weeks, sorry, from the day you receive your money. So if you receive the money today, you have to count 8 weeks for your coverage period to expire. So yes, that's the coverage period. So you receive the money. So what do you need next to do? That is why we're going to do. The government, what does the government need? The government actually wants to make sure that the money that you spend are spent on the right thing, especially the money that they gave you for this program. Remember, the program is PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. So the government wants to make sure that you are spending the money on the right things. Example, we have been talking about that, but it doesn't hurt to remind it again. It's about the payroll. We say that the money is for sustain your company, especially your employees, because by containing your employees into your business, it prevents them from going into state unemployment. We know how big was the unemployment rate during the COVID-19. I don't know, it might still be going up. So basically the government wants you to use this money for, first of all, payroll. And one of the keys that you have to use at least 75% of your money, the money that you receive, for payroll. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter whether you have employees or no. I will explain better maybe on this video or on the next video what to do in terms of payroll if you don't have employees. Okay, so the next thing that you have to spend the money on is, you know, the cost of your mortgage interest. Some company own their own business, so they have to pay mortgages. When you pay mortgages, you pay interest on it. So the interest you pay on your mortgage is an unqualified expense with this COVID-19. If you don't have more, you don't own a property, at least you lease, you know, you rent a property, you rent your office, you rent your shop, you rent whatever you do business on, or you don't even rent something, you use your house. I will explain in the different video how to go by if you are doing business from your home. You might still qualify for some type of rent expense that you can take off this grant. So the next thing is what? Is basically utility. The utility you need for your business. If you have a business, you might have a line of, you know, a phone line that you use to receive your phone. You might have internet, of course. Whatever you spend in terms of utility to run your business, those are qualified expenses. So what else is it qualified as an expense for this PPP loan that you receive? Basically, they are saying that, okay, by February 15, you were using a line of credit, or you were using a credit card, or you even have a loan. You have a loan that you were using to purchase stuff for your business. Yes, this could also qualify if you are paying back debt that you have by February 15. I'm not talking about that yesterday you went there, took a line of credit of $20,000 because you were eligible for $75,000. Then you want to pay off that balance. No, don't do that. Don't even try. We're talking about people who were actually in the normal course of their business using a line of credit to purchase stuff or a credit card, whatever the case may be. So basically, this is what the money is supposed to be used for. Use the money for payroll, use the money for utility, for rent or mortgage interest. Use the money for, yes, utility. Use the money to pay your debt, your past debt, the debt that you had before the COVID-19 hit. So basically, you have all those information. So you're gonna need to provide some type of documentation to show the government that you actually use the money on what you promised to use it when you took that money. Remember, you certified. You have to say, okay, maybe you didn't know, but the bank or the financial advisor or the accountant that helps you to get your money, they actually certified on your behalf that yes, I'm taking that money, I'm gonna use that money for this, for that, exactly what you guys want us to use. Now the government wants you guys to provide some type of documentation that will actually ensure them that yes, they use the money as intended. So don't even think, the trap is that sometimes we say that to people, okay, don't even think that sending the bank statement is going to be just fine. No, it's not going to be just fine. That's why we have been telling people, but of course it was the way to let them know that, okay, at least put your money in your bank and you have to provide the bank that shows that the money was spent. But that is not just enough. Even though you put the money into the bank, anytime you use the money, like anytime you use the same bank account to spend all the money up to the last penny, it won't be enough to make this money a free money. Let's call it like that. To make this money a grant, it won't be enough. So do you really need, what you really need to get together are more than that. Okay, what you really need to get together are more than just taking all your bank statement and send it to your lender, to your underwriter, which is actually the bank, on behalf of the government. Of course, you are actually sending those to the government, but you go through the bank because you are not talking to the government directly. You're going to the bank, and when the bank thinks that, they see if the government accept those documentation. So what you really need to do is what? Okay, by the way, as I think I said that in the beginning, if you have any question, just drop your question on the comment section of this video. At the end of the webinar, I will answer them, of course. And if you catch this at a later time, still ask your question. I will come back and still answer them, even though the video is over. By the way, I think I'll say that again. If you are new to this channel, my name is Russell. I'm an error agent by the Internal Revenue Service in the US. If you need relevant content like this one, in the topic like financial consulting, bookkeeping, and accounting, and especially tax planning strategy, which is what I actually focus or specialize on. If you need all those content for your business, like you need those content to help you get a good, better idea or make a wise decision for your business, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and you will be notified anytime a new content is available for you. And also like it and share it to people that you think it might be interested to. So now, like I said, from the bank or from the government perspective, what is really need? What do you need to provide? Okay, what do you need to show the government that you use the money wisely? The first thing that the government wants to know is not only that you show them the bank statement, it's that you first of all show them that you owe that money, because you are spending the money, that you had an obligation to pay the money that you actually spend, and that has the proof on your bank statement. That's the first thing that you have to provide to the government. So the government wants to know that you owe the money. That's the first thing. And the government wants to know that you pay the money. So the first thing is that you owe the money. Otherwise, if you don't owe nothing, that means you don't have business. But you don't just go by your mouth to say, okay, I owe this, I have 15 employees. Just with your mouth, you just don't, it doesn't work like that. Okay, I have this, I don't know, $2,000 rent that I use for my store. You just don't go with your mouth. So you have to show the government that you owe the money. There's an obligation for you to spend that money. That's the first thing. Because remember, they are giving the money to people who are in the need, people who actually has that obligation to spend the money, but they don't have that money because of the COVID-19. So you have to put it in perspective before you think about spending the money anyhow. So you have to prove that you owe the money. The first thing, you have to prove that you pay the money. Yes, you have to prove that you pay the money. And the last thing, you have to prove that the money actually went out of your business. So if you owe the money and you don't actually spend that money, like you virtually pay, you tell somebody, okay, I owe you $5,000 for utility or for whatever it is, but you don't actually pay them, the money is not forgivable because you didn't pay. And how to show that you actually the money left your company? Of course, it's what I said in the beginning, what you think it was the only piece of content, that piece of documentation that you have to provide. No, that was the last piece that you have to provide. It's a bank statement to show that the money actually left your company. No, the Uncle Sam really wants to know that you had the obligation to pay the money, and that the money actually was really spent on what you say that you use it for, okay? And especially during the 8-week period, which is called the COVID period. So this means you cannot prepare expenses. For example, the rent. You cannot, for example, okay, just go there and say, you know what, I got money. I was approved for $57,000. I'm gonna pay the rent for the whole year. Yes, you have that money in your bank account. No, don't do that. Okay, do it if you want to, but that portion of that rent, that doesn't qualify within, that doesn't fall into the COVID period. Is not going to be forgivable. It's going to be a loan, just a loan. You have to remember that. So basically, what do you want? What do you need to do? Other thing, you cannot just prepare your utility. Maybe you go there, you prepare for 1 year. I don't know if it's possible or no. You prepare for, or you pay off the loan. Yeah, you actually have a really actual line of credit that you had by February 15. The balance is maybe $6,000. You're supposed to pay $250 every year, but you decide because you have money to pay off the balance. No, it doesn't work like that, because it doesn't fall into the COVID period. That's the reason why the government wants to see that you owe the money. How much do you owe in terms of money? You only owe the portion that falls within the eight weeks period. Yes. And if you really spend that, they want to see exactly how much you spend. If you show them the bank statement, you spend 10 times what you're supposed to spend. No, it's not going to work like that. So basically, you don't pay for the debt that is not due. Basically, that's what they want you to do. If you prepare the rent is not due. The rent for next 10 months are not due today, so you don't have to. That was the reason why they want you to match every piece of content, okay? So you have to match the obligation with the payment and with the proof of exit of the money from your bank account. Those are the 3 pieces of evidence you have to get together in order to make this money grant. So let me ask you a question. Is it possible just to get those pieces of document together to get the money free? Or is it like more difficult to do that than to repay the loan to the government? It's like, I give you the money, I say, okay, spend this money. You told me that you have a problem. I gave you the money. I say, spend the money the way you told me you will spend that money. Okay. And then the money becomes free to you. Is it easier for you not to forget about spending the money and gathering the documentation, then paying the money back? So I asked that question, but everyone will have, you guys answer. I have my own answer. It will be 10 times, 100 times easier for me to just gather those documentation and just show them to say, okay, yeah, I get the money, I spend it on it. Those are the proof. I own it. I live here, and I use this utility. I use this, and I actually spend them. This is my bank statement. You can see everything. So to me, it's like 100 times is even not enough. Maybe 10,000 times easier for me to actually choose to provide those documentation. Then decided to pay that, unless it was my first intention. I don't know if there is a fine for people who intentionally just get the money knowing that they are going to use it for something else. I don't know if there's any fine for them, or they will just consider the whole money as a loan. I don't know yet. But if you decide to go that road, it might still be fine to you if there's no fine, because if you are looking for the loan and you didn't know how to get the loan, you get that loan, $50,000. You go and invest it otherwise, and you consider it as a loan for 24 months with 6 months deferment period. It's still a good deal, but I'm not talking about that right now because I don't know if there's consequences on that. So I'm talking about people who normally were in trouble because COVID-19, and they need support, they need financial support, and they receive the financial support. And they have to prove that they use that to feel better financially for their business. So what do? The first thing, like I said, you have to prove that you owe the money. How do you prove that you owe the money? What type of documentation can I provide to prove that I had that obligation to pay the money or every single cent from the money I receive for the PPP. How do I do? What type of documentation can I provide? Of course, the documentation will depend on the type of obligation you actually want to prove that it exists by February 15. The first thing is the utility. I mean, there's no other. I'm just picking utility like that. For the utility, of course, you have a bill from your utility provider. It might be PSC&G. If you have internet, Comcast, T-Mobile, you have a line of internet, or a phone line, or a fax. You might be using Verizon. You name it. So, of course, every month those companies will bill you, right? Those companies will actually bill you something every single month, because it's actually a source document for them, for the accounting. Of course, they have to bill you, that you have to make a payment, they have to record it in the book. You have to do the same thing if you are a serious business owner. Even though you are not a business owner, even you are just a taxpayer in your house, you receive the bill every month. When you don't pay, they will tell you it's past due. So for utility, there's a proof of obligation to pay, which is what? Your bill. Yes. For the rents, there's invoice. There are some landlord who will actually invoice you, like before the end of the month. They will invoice you so you can make a payment. You have some type of payment, the different type of payment that is allowed by that company, that landlord. You might pay by direct deposit, by check, or cash. I don't know. It's up to you and your landlord and the lease agreement that you have. Okay, the other piece, like I said, for the rent is a lease agreement. If you actually you are not invoiced by your landlord every month to make a payment, at least there's what is called the lease agreement. The lease agreement actually tells that, okay, you have a contract for 1 month or 6 months, or for 12 months, and you are still within that contract. So that means the contract says how much you're supposed to pay every month. So that is an obligation to pay. That's the sole document that will be used as obligation to pay. That proves that you have to pay, that you owe that money. Every month you have to pay that. So maybe you have a lease contract. So if you don't have a lease, sometimes people use month to month. When the lease expires and they don't keep doing, and they don't sign new lease, yeah, you can use over here the receipt, the payment receipt, because every person you pay the money to, you have to receive some type of receipt. The receipt will be used as an obligation, because you don't pay for something that if you don't owe. Yes. So basically the receipt could be used here if you actually don't get invoiced, and you don't have a new lease contract, a new lease agreement with your landlord. So the next step is what? The debt, the mortgage, line of credit. Okay, how do you prove that you actually have to pay your mortgage every month? Of course, I think there's a statement that you have to receive every month that shows that how much you owe for that period. Yes, there's a statement, whether it's for the mortgage or your bank statement. For whether it's a mortgage or a line of credit or a credit card, you receive that statement even though you don't open it. Sometimes you even receive them online, like digitally. The next thing, or the last one, is what? It's basically the payroll. That's the big thing. For payroll, it's easy. It's a big thing, but it's easy, because if you actually have employees, of course, having employees means that you are paying payroll. Paying payroll doesn't mean that you just write a check to someone. You say, okay, you work here. This is your two weeks payment. No, it doesn't work like that. When they say payroll, they mean that you actually deduct federal and state payroll tax when you are paying your employees. So basically the proof is what? The proof will be your payroll report. The payroll report, that means a report that shows how much employees you have, how much you actually pay each employees every week, every pay period. Let's call it like that. Every pay period could be the week or a bi-week period, or even a monthly period. They want to show that this is actually what the obligation that you have to pay this employee, because they work this number of hours during the month. So if you don't have employees, because you are self-employed, you are your only employee. Those reports, of course, by the way, those reports could be to be obtained by from your payroll provider. Your payroll provider, if you have a business, you run your payroll, you know what I'm talking about. It could be ADP, it could be Paycheck, it could be many other payroll provider software, or your accountant. If you are using an external accountant to actually keep your book and also do your payroll, your accountant will actually provide you with those payroll documentation. Yes, if you are self-employed, like I said, you work for yourself, don't worry about that, because your payroll is shown. Your payroll is actually the money, is your net income, is your net earning for the year. That could be found on the schedule C of your taxes. So don't worry about that. If you are already filed your taxes and you're self-employed, your payroll will be fine. So you have not been receiving those proof. You have not been receiving those proof. Those proof, you don't have to actually keep them physically. You can put them in the digital form. Yes, you have to start gathering those support documentation now. So if you are receiving them physically, try to put them into some type of folder into your office or in your home. Find a box where you drop every piece of those content, those source documents that I just listed earlier. Try to find them and put them on the safe spot. And most importantly, if you can, because if you don't do it now, you will still do it at the time you have to show them. If you can, just start putting them digitally. That means you just scan them and put each one in one folder. I told you there are 4 categories that you have to provide documentation from. Create 4 folders into your computer. Each one, scan each of them and put them into the folder into your computer for each payment period, for each payment that you make for those categories of spending. Yeah, just do them now. If you don't, don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it now, but you have to keep them. I'm just saying that the easier way to do it for now, to get ready when you want to actually officially ask for the forgiveness, is to make it in the digital form. Digital form is not that hard. You have your phone, just take a snapshot of it, put it in your computer or save it into your email. Use it digitally the way you want to. So those are the how you show the obligation. So how do you prove that you actually pay the money? The proof of payment. The proof of payment is what? It's basically the check. If you are your employees, you are calling them the check every pay period. Let's call it that, because it depends. The pay period could be a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or semi-monthly. So basically, the proof of payment is the check. But remember, the check was not enough, because I can get the money now. I fire all the employees. Every month, I just keep writing the check. I make a copy of those checks. I write the check. I make a copy of those checks, and then I show them the government. Oh, I spent all the $75,000 on my employees because I have a copy of the check that I wrote. But I wrote the check to no one because I fired everyone. So that's the reason why this is a proof of payment. It's not enough. The first one, you have to show in your system that you incur those expenses by having those people into your company to work for you. So this is the point of matching the obligation with the payment. And now, even though if you incur those expenses and you don't actually pay them, you cannot take the money. You cannot get that portion of money forgiven, because if you write this check to no one, that means no one cashes the check. It means that something doesn't match, because you have to owe the money, you have to pay the money, and the money has to leave your company. If the money doesn't leave your company, then you didn't need the money in the first place. That is how the government is trying to see it, to understand it. So for payment, you have to use a check, whether you are paying your employees, or you are paying your landlord, or you are paying for utility. Keep any single check, because each check should be matched to an obligation. Yes. If you don't use a normal payment of a check as a payment mode of payment, of course you can use the receipt. Whenever you make a payment online, you get a confirmation receipt. You get an email that says, oh, thank you for making a payment for this. Yes, thank you for doing business with us. Of course, the email itself is a proof of payment because it was generated by the company you pay the money to. And you can actually print that receipt, of course. So those are basically the main way to show that you actually made a payment. If you make a payment by cash, let's say you make a payment by cash, even though you make a payment by cash, you still get a receipt, of course. Even though if you want the receipt, you go to Walmart to spend the money. You make a payment by cash, right? You still receive the payment, the receipt. So the receipt is a form of payment. The physical receipt or the email receipt, if you make a payment online, those are proof of payment. So remember, if you only have the proof of payment, it could be for January. If you only have the proof of payment, it could be for January bill, or it could be that you are repaying for months in advance out of the COVID period. And I explained that earlier. If you only have a proof of payment, it could be for January bill. January bill is not within the COVID period. Remember, we said the COVID period starts from February. It starts when you receive the money. But if you will receive the money from February to, I think it's June. But if you're making a payment you have a proof of payment, only you don't have the evidence that you owe that money. That payment that you are making, you have a proof today that you pay the payment, could be for a month in advance, or it could be for a back payment that you missed since December or January. So this is the reason why they really want you to provide to match every piece of evidence of obligation or payment, and now the evidence that the money actually left. Last, remember, the COVID period starts from when you receive the money. Your COVID period, it starts when you receive the money, and you count 8 weeks from that time. That means, for example, if you receive the money on March 17, because the first people receive the money at that time, by May, if you count 8 weeks from March 17, I think it could be May 29. That those people are actually, especially for them that I'm doing this video, because if they have not been doing what I'm saying now, they have to do it the next 2 days, because they are almost ready to do what is called apply for the forgiveness. And I will run a couple of videos in the next coming day to show you exactly how to apply for the forgiveness, because what I'm saying now is just the first step. There are more further steps to actually get the money free. So if you get the money on March 17, you count 8 weeks period, and by May 29, you should be applying for your forgiveness. Okay, so the last thing is a proof that the money actually left your company. We said that earlier. How can you prove that the money left your company? The money left your company just by showing you to the government or the bank. The banker taking all of this documentation on behalf of the government, of course. So you have to show the bank statement. Any bank statement that shows the proof that these monies actually left the payment. So in conclusion, before we wrap up, is that you need to have the paperwork to show the obligation and to show the payment. And also you have to back up all of that with the bank statement. So I don't know if you have questions. So basically this was everything that I had to share. Let me see if you have question. Which computer should I use for the question? What question do we have at this time? I don't see no question. What I will do, basically what I will do is that you may still, if you like the video, this is the end of the video basically, because I don't want to be wasting your time for nothing. If you please give a thumb up if you like the video, and let me know what you think about the video. Drop it just down. If you like it, give me a thumb up, and subscribe to the channel if you want to receive like similar content in the topic that I talked earlier, financial consulting, bookkeeping, accounting, tax strategy for your business, and so on, and many other more topics. So subscribe to the channel, leave the question, let me know if there's any particular topic that you would like me to explain in the upcoming video about this PPP loan. If you have a question or a particular topic, maybe you have a particular situation, you don't know how to go by it. So just drop a question in the link below, and it will be my pleasure, to answer. Yes. So basically, this was everything I had to offer you today. And if there's no more question, I will just hope that you guys have a very safe day, a nice day, and be safe, be confined, follow all the measures about the COVID-19, and save your family. And see you on the next video. Especially I will actually provide you with some type of guidance, some type of spreadsheet that you can actually use. I will drop it down on this video that you can use to actually track every expense that you have to do. Yes, I will actually do that. So basically, thank you again, and you have a safe day, a nice rest of the day. Thank you so much. Bye.